Welcome back to my channel Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Rory Calhoun finally talks about Guy Madison's marriage. Rory Calhoun was born with the name Francis Timothy McCow on August 8, 1922 in Los Angeles. Rory had aerially hard childhood with no money, Amiens stepfather, and getting in trouble with the law. When he was just 13, he stole agent and was sent to a special school for bad kids called Preston School. He escaped from there. For the next few years, he stole jewelry, stole cars, and drove a stolen car to their states. These crimes got him sent to a big prison in Springfield, Missouri for 3 years. While in prison, Hemet, a priest named Father Daniel Canali, who awakened and helped him change his life. The priest taught him how to box and think about spiritual things, helping him stay away from more trouble. He got out of prison on his 21st birthday in 1943 and promised he would never go back to prison again. After getting out, Rory worked lots after-front jobs. He was a car mechanic, tree cutter, rock miner, cowboy, fisherman, truck driver, craniopator, and forest firefighter. All that AF work made him look real when he acted in movies later. While riding a horse in the Hollywood Hills, he met an actor named Alan Ladd, who introduced him to a talent agent named Sue Carroll, who was Ladd's wife. She helped him get a tryout at 20th Century Fox movie studio, starting his acting career with small parts in movies like Something for the Boys in 1944 and Sunday Dinner for a Soldier. At first, he used his real name, Frank McCow. Soon after, an agent named Henry Wilson gave him a contract with David Selznick's company called Vanguard. It was Wilson who gave him the new name Rory Calhoun, saying that lions roar and that Calhoun sounded like good Irish family history. This name story helped create his Hollywood image, even though he had a shaky start, including going back to jail. Brief lifer, hitting a detective. Calhoun got more movie chances as he played smaller roles in The Red House in 1947, That Hagen Girl in 1947, and Massacre River in 1949. In 1950, he signed a 7-year deal with 20th Century Fox. He acted in movies with famous stars like Susan Hayward in Idclim, The Highest Mountain in 1951, Betty Grable in Meet Me After the Show in 1951, and in the musical movie The Song in My Heart in 1952, and Way of a Gaucho in 1952, directed by Jacques Turner. But it was cowboy movies that became his specialty. He starred in The Silver Whip in 1953, Powder River in 1953, Four Guns, Tough Border in 1954, became more famous as the bad guy love interest in River Off No Return 1954, acting with Marilyn Monroe and Robert Mitchum. His exciting bad boy performance made his image stronger. He also acted with Monroe Gain plus Betty Grable and Lauren Bacall in the hit movie How to Marry a Millionaire 1953. In 1955, a gossip magazine called Confidential told everyone about Rory's criminal past. The information was leaked by his agent Wilson, but instead of hurting his image, it made Dee's bad boy reputation stronger and made Dee's public more interested. He bravely told about his criminal history first, protecting himself from the attack. By 1957, Calhoun started a company called Rurik Productions with Victor Orsatti. Madian starred in movies like The Hired Gun, Apache Territory, Domino Kid, and Fly to Hong Kong. Taking control of making cowboy movies with grown-up themes and real questions. Rory also wrote the script for Shotgun, later helped write Domino Kid, and even turned one of history's into a book called The Man from Padera. A time when big movie stars stayed away from TV, Rory starred in, made, and sometimes wrote episodes of the Subs-Cowboy TV show The Texan from 1958 to 1960 under his company Delu Productions. He filmed 2 episodes every week for almost 79 episodes. It's 2 seasons. It was a huge amount of work, but a smart move that made him very popular. Even though people wanted a 3rd season, Calhoun said no, wanting to go back to movie roles and not get too tired. Though never got another major studio movie deal, Calhoun kept acting in lots of horror movies like Motel Hell, Angoland action movies, and guest TV appearance well into the late 1980s and early 90s. He appeared on Gilligan's Island, Mr. Skyend, Hutch, Alias Smith and Jones, The A-Team, and the daytime soap opera Capital as Judge Tyler. His last movie role was as Ernest Tucker in Pure Country in 1992, where critics said he was the best actor in an otherwise okay movie. Besides acting, Rory was smart with business, buying real estate worth millions of dollars in the San Fernando Valley, running cowboy-themed nightclubs and cattle ranches, even got interested in stage plays like Belle Star in London's West End, though it famously fell apart because of money and personal troubles. Rory Calhoun's personal life was as colorful and dramatic as some off-sea characters he played on screen. During his life, got married 3 times, showing both the craziness and difficulty of his relationships. His first marriage was tone actress and singer named Lita Barron, whom he married in 1948 when his early Hollywood fame was at its highest. Their marriage lasted for over 20 years, ending in 1970 after 22 years together. During their marriage, the couple had 3 daughters, Cindy, Tammy, and Lori, whom Calhoun loved deeply, even though there were problems in his married life. Lita Barron was not only his wife, but also African party companion and fellow performer. Having appeared with Calhoun in several movies and published fans, however, their relationship got worse, leading to Avery's public divorce. When Barron asked for a divorce, the court case made headlines because of her shocking claims of Calhoun cheating on her constantly, and a surprising and much talked about court statement. Shnamid movie legend Betty Grable has just onimong 79 women with whom she said Calhoun had cheated during their marriage. The claim was explosive, getting the attention of Hollywood Gizip writers and fans. Calhoun never wanted to run away from controversy or feel sorry for his rebellious life. Lee answered with his usual boldness. In what would become one of his most famous quotes, he laughed at the accusation and jokingly said, "Heck, she didn't even include half of them." This carefree and unashamed comment made his reputation as a charming Hollywood bad boy who lived life his own way even stronger. After his divorce from Barron, Calhoun married again, this time to a journalist and screenwriter named Sue Rhodes. Their first marriage started in 1971 and lasted until 1979, during which time they had 1 daughter together, whom they named Rory in honor of Calhoun himself. The name showed not only family pride, but also a way of passing down legacy from father to daughter. Even though they eventually separated, Calhoun and Rhodes got back together and married once again in 1982. This on-and-off nature of their relationships sugged a deep but complicated love between them that continued even through hard times. Besides children from his official marriages, Calhoun had a daughter, Athena Marcus Calhoun, with actress Fatima Marcus. Casa, a television and film actress known for her beauty and performances in the 1950s and 60s, had a short relationship with Calhoun, that resulted in the birth of Athena. Even thought unusual nature of the relationship, Athena was accepted by Calhoun and grew up connected to her father's Hollywood legacy, with children from both marriages and a separate romantic relationship. Rory Calhoun's family life was like a blanket woven with passion, scandal, loyalty, and drama, looking like the unpredictable stories of the cowboy movies and soap operas in which he's so often starred. For many years, people wondered about the seeming light perfect, but quietly complicated marriage of 1950s movie heartthrob Guy Madison and actress Gail Russell, a marriage that fascinated both Hollywood insiders and the public. During those years, many of Madison's fellow actors stayed quietly silent about the real truth of his marriage, either because of loyalty, wanting privacy, or not wanting to face Hollywood backlash. One of Thausilant watchers was Rory Calhoun, the ruggedly handsome star of many cowboy movies who hung out in the same groups as Madison. Even though Calhoun and Madison had met many times on movie studio lots, red carpets, and private parties, Calhoun had always refused to publicly talk about the topic until now. In a rare and thoughtful interview near the end of his life, Calhoun finally lifted the curtain on what had seen during the years that Madison and Russell were married. Their revelation shocked many longtime fans and industry watchers who had thought the 2 men only knew each other professionally. According to Calhoun, he had kept a careful distance out of respect for Madison, but had long known some of the inner pain taunted the couple behind their polished Hollywood image. Calhoun started by giving a peek into the early days of the Madison-Russell relationship, describing the first attraction and media excitement that surrounded their dating to the public. "They looked like the perfect couple," he explained. "I was every Inch the movie idol, square jaw, handsome features, and a soft-spoken charm that made women fall in love. Gail, meanwhile, had this quiet, haunted beauty, but I always felt there was more going on underneath the surface. Calhoun went on to describe private mens at industry parties, where Gail Russell often seemed worried or withdrawn, holding a cocktail glass a little too tightly, or standing just out of hearing during conversations. That included her husband. She was fighting demons, Calhoun revered sadly. It's talking about her well-known struggles with alcohol and worry. I don't think Guy knew how to help her. I don't think anyone did, really. But that doesn't mean there wasn't love with her. It just wasn't enough to keep them whole. He also spoke honestly about Madison himself, admitting that while the actor was admired for his sunscreen charm and calm behavior, improvates he could be emotionally distant, sometimes too worried about keeping his public image. Guy Wassender? A lot of pressure to keep up the tall American image, Calhoun said. There was very little room for showing weakness, and that made it hard for him to hand Lee a wife, who was so fragile. He wasn't man. He just didn't know how to be her answer. When asked why he had waited so long to speak out, Calhoun admitted that keeping secrets had once been the unspoken rule among actors of their time. We didn't gossip. We didn't betray each other. It wasn't like today with tell-all books and reality shows. Back then, your word was your promise. But now, with most of the people gone and the golden age of Hollywood fading into memory, Calhoun felt it was important to give you an honest story, both to make Madison seem more human and to honor Roussel, whose weakness had so often been used by gossip magazines. Calhoun's revelations showed new light on the marriage that had once seemed like a movie studio-created dream. His words were like a touching reminder that behind every silver screen romance was a real relationship. It's often filled with same challenges, misunderstandings, and heartaches as those outside the spotlight. And while Rory Calhoun's decision to openly speak out might have come late, it added a touching layer of truth, tough long mythologized story of Guy Madison and Gail Russell. Two stars forever captured in black and white photos, all too human underneath the surface. Rory Calhoun died on April 28, 1999, marking the end of a long and memorable life at the age of 76. His death happened at Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, a well-known hospital located in Burbank, California, a city deeply connected to the entertainment industry and close to Hollywood, where Calhoun spent much of his career. Providence St. Joseph Medical Center has a reputation for giving specialties care for long-term illnesses, which was particularly important given the conditions Calhoun was fighting in his final years. The causes of Rory Calhoun's death were emphysema and diabetes, two serious health conditions that had hurt his body over time. Emphysema is a lung disease that gets worse over time, often caused by long-term smoking cigarettes, leading to breathing problems and lysoxygen getting into the body. Since Calhoun's career happened during the mid-20th century, when smoking was common and people didn't know it was bad, it is possible that lifestyle choice helped cause his breathing illness. Emphysema is part of a group of diseases known as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, which slowly damages the air sacs in lungs, making it harder and harder to breathe. Along with emphysema, Calhoun was also sick with diabetes, a long-term condition where blood sugar levels are too high that affects many organs and systems in the body. Diabetes can lead to serious problems if not taken care of, including heart disease, kidney failure, nerve damage, and getting sick more easily from infections. Both emphysema and diabetes would have made Rory Calhoun's health really weak, since both conditions can make each other worse and make treatment harder. His death at the age of 76 shows a life that, while reaching into the latter years, was ultimately cut somewhat short by these long-term illnesses. At that time, 76 was considered a pretty good lifespan, but given his star power and influence in Hollywood, his death was felt as the loss of an important person who had left a lasting impact on the cowboy and adventure types of movies and television shows. Calhoun's death not only closed the chapter on his personal story, but also reminded fans and co-workers of the harsh realities of long-term disease, especially those related to lifestyle and getting older. His fight with emphysema and diabetes showed the weakness of famous people and the importance of health awareness. Tributes after his death often talked a boothless, rugged screen image and charismatic presence compared with private health struggles he went through in his final years. Rory Calhoun's death, April 28, 1999, at Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank, because of emphysema and diabetes, was an important moment marking the end of a celebrated life and career. It highlights how his personal health challenges connected with bigger story of a Hollywood star whose legacy continues to be remembered by fans of classic American movies.